Hello and welcome to ET Garage. I want to thank everybody that subscribed so far. If you haven't, go down there and subscribe, like, share, all that good things. But anyway, today's video is going to be about changing the oil on your C4 Corvette or small block Chevy, because they're pretty much, any small block Chevy is pretty much the same thing, first gens anyway. And the same thing applies to most American cars and pretty much any car. The only difference will be the location of the drain plug. Some plugs you have to be real careful with the torquing them when you put them on, like my Chevy Trax. And of course, different locations, like I said, for the oil filters. Some you want to pre-lube the oil filters, like small block Chevys, definitely. Big block Chevys, their oil filter is mounted underneath the car just like that, so you can fill this, and this helps greatly when first starting a car with fresh oil in it and a fresh oil filter, because if you don't pre-fill the oil filter, you risk damaging your engine bearings on a dry start. That being said, millions of cars have had their oil changed without having the oil filter filled. I highly recommend it. You will tell a difference in the noise when you first start your motor, at least especially this one here, a stroker motor. You'll definitely hear it until the oil gets to the bearings. So you definitely want to fill it if you have that option. My Chevy Trax, you can't fill it. It's totally different type of oil filter. It's a cartridge kind, and it's upside down. It's real easy to get to on that, I could say that. And you unscrew it and you pull the filter out, and the oil just drains down automatically, I guess, where the engine's running, whether that cover for the oil filter is on or not. And but that's a whole other thing. We're going to concentrate on the C4 Corvette. I originally was going to do the KC4 oil cooler. That's going to be a lot more work than I anticipated, and I think I'm better off waiting until spring at least to do that. And I may even go a different route in the interest of my viewers, because it'll be more viewer friendly to go that other route. Anyway, getting on with this, the most important thing is to get it up on safely on jack stands. If you can somehow manage to crawl under there and undo the drain plug on a C4 Corvette and the oil filter without jacking it up, you're one skinny dude. I am not a skinny dude. Maybe when I was 16 years old, I might have been able to do it. I was weighed like 145 pounds. Then I was a skinny dude. I am not a skinny dude now, and I quit putting it up on jack stands. I'm going to be doing a video on jacks, by the way. It's going to involve 3 different jacks at least. 1 electric, 2 hydraulic, and the 2 hydraulic ones are totally 2 different types, but that's another story. And I'm going to get on with this. Like I said, let me see here. I'll show you my drain pan real quick. Okay, there's the oil pan I drain. I've had this thing for years, and it's all beat up and everything, but it doesn't leak. That's the important thing, and it catches oil, and it's nice and wide. You don't need anything like that. You could just use something like this. You know, any type of pan, preferably plastic or metal. That's leak proof. That will fit underneath your oil pan and oil filter. Also, one thing I highly recommend is rubber gloves. It just keeps you from getting oil all over your hands. And when you drain your old oil, that's full of all sorts of carbon buildup and blow by and all that nasty stuff that's probably cancerous. So even though for years I've worked without rubber gloves, I'd say the last 10 years, I'm in my 60s now, and I haven't gotten cancer yet, but I've been lucky that I haven't, considering all the chemicals I've come in contact with. That includes things like automotive cleaners and different types of oils and grease. Whenever you can, use rubber gloves. In my opinion, that's the safe thing to do. Like I said, you should pre-fill your oil filter if you have that option. Use your favorite oil filter. Any good brand oil filter, even the Fram ones, is better than none. So what's important is not the brand oil you use. This is my favorite oil. I recommend it. over even Mobile One. But that's each your own. I also prefer the wick filters. You can get these online at AMSOIL. I'm not sponsored by AMSOIL. And like I said, pre-fill this. It'll take a while to pre-fill it. You got to fill it, let it settle, fill it, settle, all that stuff. Lube up your ring and all that good stuff. And usually what I do first before I do that is I'll go under the car. I'll poke a hole in the oil filter, and then I'll loosen up the nut on the drain pan and let the stuff drain. Well, that's draining. I'll go ahead and fill the oil filter. Like I said, make sure your car is up safely on jack stands, and I'll have to get some light under there for you. Now let me get under there, and we'll get that done, and I'll show you how I go about doing that. Okay, I'm under the car. I hope you can see everything good. And one of the first things you want to do is take a sharp object, a punch, a screwdriver, a hammer, and punch a hole in the bottom of your oil filter. Now, another good thing is to pre-warm your oil either by running the motor or other means, as long as it's safe. And there, that's going to drain. That will save you a lot of aggravation by poking that hole. Another thing you want to do is, while that's draining, is remove the drain plug. And on this small block Chevy, at least all that I worked on, it's a 9/16. This is why it's a good reason to wear a rubber glove. Okay. Now, if you want, and you're not in a hurry, you can wait for the oil to drain. And of course, mine is on there really good. I don't remember having it that tight, but there it is. Looks like I don't want to go. Okay, like I was saying, a 9/16. I got something a little more leverage. And hopefully, yep, that's all it took was that. So, I got that. Of course, another important tool you want is a rag. Now make sure you get your pan positioned good. Unscrew the plug. If you drop your plug in there, don't worry about it. Just leave it in the pan until you can get it out after the oil's done draining, and then get it out. And my engine oil is pre-warm. It's nice and warm, which makes it drain a lot better. Okay, now back up top side. Okay, the drain plug's out. Always give that a good inspection. And a lot of these are magnetic. I'm not even sure if this one's magnetic. I guess it is. Nah, it's not. It's just a piece of metal. And it isn't. But it's better to have a magnetic one, because then if there's any metal shavings in your oil, it will show up on there. Clean it real good, inspect it, make sure this gasket's good. You can get these gaskets at Napa or any of your favorite auto parts store. Like I was saying, also have a good rag. You may want to loosen up your, depending on the design of your motor, you might want to loosen up your filler cap to let air in the crankcase and help the oil drain easier. On mine, it's not necessary. The way the PVC system works, it will do it, no problem. Now, you can just pour it in your oil filter when you're priming it. Like I said, you just fill it slowly, and you want to try and fill as much as possible. What will happen is when you get it completely full, like it is just about now, it'll drain down. I don't know, maybe you can see that, but it's going to drain down. It'll may take a couple of minutes, and then you fill it some more. And there it goes again. Let it drain down. What it's doing is it's filtering through all the filter elements, so that takes a little bit. And take some clean oil and lubricate your gasket. And it's draining down some more. You can see where I have to keep doing this over and over again. Just one of those things. Yep, there it goes. Okay, it's getting close to being full. Now the problem with doing this is when you go under the car, you need to hold this perfectly upright and don't spill the oil out. That can be very difficult. And so you may want to fill it to just maybe a 1/4 inch of full and leave it there. And for now, I'm going to leave that there. And that's about where I'm at right now. I'm going to go under the car, remove the old filter. And when I do that, I'm going to do it with an oil wrench. If you don't necessarily, if the oil filter is a spin-on type like this, it may not be necessary to use an oil wrench. Oops, this thing is filthy. That's my oil wrench. Give it a good cleaning. Get all the oil that's on there. It's been sitting in this pan over here. I always have to use an oil wrench. The trick is not to over tighten your oil filter. You want to run it down to it's snug, and then you go like, I think it's 3/4 of a turn, I believe it is. Don't want to over tighten. You'll have an almost impossible job. If you were to really put that sucker on super tight, when you go to take it off or someone else goes to take it off, it's not going to be an easy job. If you're doing it, you're going to curse yourself. If someone else is doing it, they're going to curse you. Anyway, back under the car, I guess. Okay, hopefully you can see that. And what's important is the O-ring is not stuck to the block. Make sure it's stuck to the oil filter. And it's good and clean. And then I'll go ahead and install the new oil filter. Okay, before I put the new oil filter in, I figured I'd show you the old oil filter. Make sure, like I said, this rubber gasket is in place. If it's not, it might be stuck to the block. You do not want that. So I'm going to get back under the car. I'm going to screw it on. And next thing will be to reinstall the drain plug and fill it with oil. Okay, hopefully you can see this. I'm under the car. Keep it nice and level. And hopefully I won't spill any. I have in the past dropped the oil filter and all that stuff. So if you do, don't feel bad. And you see how I'm spinning it? Spinning it? Okay, just start it. Now I'm going to go about 3/4 a turn. There, that's about it. And now for the drain plug. If I can reach it. Yep, there it is. I'm going to wipe that surface out. It's dripping, still dripping a little bit. I'm not going to get upset about those last little drips. As long as you change your oil on a regular basis, that's what's important. Follow the manufacturer's recommended or the oil manufacturer's recommendation, whichever one makes you happy. Screw that on by hand. And you should probably look up the torque rating. You don't do like I did and over tighten it. Make it taking off easier next time. Me, I'm just going to do it the old way I've been doing it since I started working on cars, God knows how many years ago. There it is. And that's it. That's all there's to it. Okay, time to fill the crankcase with oil. Use your favorite oil filling device. I have this. This is probably from back in the 80s. What was it? CD2 engine wear protection with Teflon. That was a big thing back then. But it came in something like this, and then you could cut it and modify it into a oil fill spout. And it works really good. I use it to this day. I find it's the best. It fits the opening good. Just pour your oil in. Use the recommended number of oil. In the case of a small block Chevy, I already got probably more than half a quart in there in the oil filter. So what I'm going to do is, what I usually recommend is put 4 quarts in the oil pan, start the engine up, run, check for leaks, turn it off, let the oil settle, and then add to the fill line. That's what I recommend. In my case, I know I'm going to use 5 quarts, including what's in the oil filter. So I just dump the rest of the oil from that one that I used in the oil filter, and then I use the 4 more quarts. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that just about wraps it up. Once the drain plug's in, the oil filter's on, you fill your crankcase with oil, you want to start your engine up, let it warm up, check for leaks. Now, you shouldn't really do it while it's in the air on jack stands like I'm about to do it, but you should have it on the ground. It's just safer, and you're going to want it flat and level and on the ground anyway when you check your oil level. Another thing you want to do is if you run any type of air oil separator or catch can, you want to go ahead and drain the oil out of those. While you're doing that, that's a good time to do it when you're changing your oil. So keep that in mind. Other than that, I'm going to end the video here. I still have some videos coming up. Like I said, I'm going to do a review of a electric jack and compare it to the 2 other jacks that I have. And I have some other stuff coming up, like that KC4 oil cooler, and I got to do all those metal brake lines on this. I'm going to be removing and replacing with stainless steel ones. It's going to be the big chop project. For now, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to end the video here. Subscribe, like, share. Leave comments down in the comment section. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.